Craig Jenner coming off the circuit too in car 50, the rookie. It's his own nickname. Never driven any kind of race car. He's run remote control cars all his life, but living out a dream this year.
Didn't want to have any contact. I think that's a smart play.
This is further back in the field. That's Jared Maggs in car 68.
Exit of turn 15, and very easy for the rear to get away from you there. There's a lot of load on the rear tyre there.
The AC Delco colours. And more happening on the replay here. And follow the leader off the track down there at turn 5. And that allows Aaron Borg to split up Walsh and Dontis.
And it'll be just interesting as the race goes on whether that, you know, those lower tyre pressures start to generate some tyre temperature. And then Walsh on the gas hard out of turn, a couple of times around.
7:20.5. The fuel cap opens up too, just to slow the spins.
It's like those NASCAR air flaps when they spin. Keep them on the ground.
So much water. Here it is again on the replay. So it's coming around from that 3 right-hand turn, and it's at least a 7:20.
Yep. Aaron Borg did a good job there to get out, stay out of harm's way, and Woods as well. So now Ben Walsh.
That's a strange one, and fairly big damage to the left-hand side of his Ryco 24/7 Mitsubishi Triton.
Didn't look that far out of control. There's an exit curve here just before the pit entry road.
I've listened to this.
And then, on the grass. And they just do not stop. It actually feels like the car starts going faster. When you're hard on the brake pedal, you hit wet grass, you know the concrete's coming. This will be another one.
1 in, 1 out. And it would have felt like it took forever just to get there.
Well, it's weird because it feels like the car's actually going faster on the grass, even though you're trying to slow it down. You've got the brakes jammed on, but then it's like, slow-mo. It's taking forever to get to the concrete wall. So big contact for Dontis. I certainly hope they can get that one fixed for tomorrow. Than him only by half a tenth or so, but it has gone faster than him again on this lap to the second sector. We pick up a replay here of, I think it's Craig Jenner, who's having his very first circuit racing experience, and certainly added the degree of difficulty. If it wasn't racing a brand new specification ute, it looked strange, didn't it? You see Ben Walsh sort of stopping, looking at it, coming up to an intersection, and clearly that's why. If Mags was parallel park, now he's sideways.
Shows you how slippery it is offline, but that rain's gone away now.
Loses the rear, actually tries to get out of the way, and gets out of the dirty stuff, buses it up, and around she goes.
It is really dirty offline, isn't it?
And that's a tricky part of the circuit, big change of direction. And this is the earlier one that we sort of had it scratching our head a little bit for a little bit. How good is that curb cam? Everyone got through.
So Michael Formosa here cruising. Did he have an issue? The replay might tell us the story. This is the same spot we just saw Mags have half a spin. First weekend and the second of the Ford Rangers. Son Chris.
Michael Formosa is taking the long GT circuit. That's going to take him about 4 minutes to finish that lap.
I'd like to know how he actually got out there.
I think he's stuck behind the barriers now.
I didn't know he had a Joker lap system. There must be a new rule that's been added to the series for today. So he had another spin by the look of it. I think he's been caught out by here because this is where the international track would go. And maybe the GPS is a bit messy at the moment.
Yep.
You are going the wrong way.
That's going to take a while to come back to. Needs to reset the sat-nav on that one. Put in tail and bend pit lane, mate. You'll find your way back.
I'm speechless.
I have to admit, Matt, I've never seen that before.
This is, wow. I think he's just realised going, hang on, they're over there. What am I doing over here?
I hope he packed a lunch. Oh, now he's worked it out. Maybe if I do a Yui and go back.
Yep, this is very bizarre, but very cool at the same time. So he's exploring the limits of the entire Bend Motorsport Park.
Which is conducive to faster lap times. You see here Craig Jenner having a moment, rejoining his way, and his learning experience continues. His first ever circuit race here in anything. And here at the Bend in the new specification ute, just runs a little wide off the exit of turn 12. And we saw earlier one of the Mags cars just pick the throttle up, and you can just see it gets a little wide, gets into the grey, into the dirty stuff, and loses the rear. No harm, no foul. Continue.
It's Michael Formosa once again. He's had a very interesting day out in race number 2 and just letting the lead cars go through. This will tell us on the replay. It's another spin for the Aldgate Ford Ranger.
All those little things are going to go into the mix to make that hopefully the right ingredients.
There's a lot to go as we go straight into it. That's a perfect explanation. And Matt McLean right on call shows us how not to do it through turn number 1 on what would be very cold brand new Yokohama Advan tyres.
To get him back on circuit.
Here it is inside the Man Filters entry, the car that
Ben Walsh should normally drive, and great reaction, great recovery to miss both the braking markers there and regain, but with new tyres, it's going to take a bit to get them back to life.
At the moment, he's sitting second overall, so yeah, really important for him to have a good run through this qualifying.
It's Jared Maggs going off in the 68, the world's best technologies entry. So they're back for the second round of the Haltech V8 SuperUtes. You're right, again, it's down at turn number 1.
SuperUtes that now don't have the traditional, what they had, the diesel engines of what we have last seen them in, but now with the the LS3 ute, there is the onboard, losing the rear on the approach to the turn-in point. With the V8 front engine now, these utes can get up and go, and they sound great. Last night, when the light was going down, there's a bit of flame coming out the exhaust, and also the low-profile tyres, which you can see there, that really gives the driver a more feel and input back into the driver's sense through the steering wheel. He's done a great job of actually getting the car, or the ute, sorry, back on track. There's those flames. There's another view of it. As a driver, that happens really quickly.
200 k's an hour on the approach in one of these cars into turn number 1. So here it is. So his son Jaden just ahead, looked up in the mirror going, "Where are you going, Dad?" Off the track, lick of flames from the 68 machine. Comes Aaron Borg. He's trying to stay with him after claiming his first pole position of his career earlier today.
This is where it's going to be difficult. Pole tyres.
Long way off for Maggs.
Maggs is absolutely out of control. He had it locked up going on the approach to the brake marker at turn 2, and as I was going to say, with this weight and horsepower, it's quite difficult. And you can hear him then trying to use that clutch as much as he could.
And that was Jaden Maggs, so he locked up the left front and then exit stage right at the turn 2 hairpin. That enabled McLean to get some clearer ahead. Here it is from the turn 1 camera.
He did a great job because he knew he was in trouble at that point. He locked up the front left. He was carrying way too much speed and momentum into that turn 2. And if he didn't deviate to the right, he would have then collected the back of the cars in front. So he actually was well aware of the problem that it was unfolding right in front of him.
Even Aaron Borg had his own moment going through turn number 1 at high speed. The world's best technologies, number 68, spinning off into the wide open terrain here at Sydney Motorsport Park. And then down the hill, this was Woods trying to make the inroads on Cameron Crick, and unfortunately got a bit too close and unloaded the number 7, which dropped Crick back into 8. At this high-pressure battle on the way up to turn number 2, McLean down the inside, they're swamping Aaron Borg, and Jaden Maggs, he's doing good. Oh, just about to say he's doing good, he's unloaded. He's unloaded at the top, and there's debris all over the circuit. There's doors being punched in. And the concern now, CO, will be, will that guard rub on the tyre?
Yeah, time will tell, but definitely Aaron Borg did a great job. He actually can see that happening.
Here's the in-car shot from Borg.
Nicely down out of the exit turn 1. He can see now McLean down the inside. He's given him room. He's backed out of it. There's that initial contact there. And then, yeah, Maggs has just gone around, rotated just completely in front of McLean. And then they've just got, as you mentioned, tangled up as he's rotated there, and Aaron Borg's is saying, "Thank you very much. There's 2 positions I've just made up."
McLean did get on the curb. You can see it here from Wood's perspective. He got on those sawtooth curbs, which would have unsettled it for a moment. They were so close up there, and in the end, someone had to give. It's Jaden Maggs, the big loser of that one. Here it is from ground level that we saw originally.
McLean gets a really good exit at turn 1, gets nice flow through there, gets up the inside of Aaron Borg down into turn 2. It's hard braking. And he just tries to be maybe a little bit cheeky here and just tries to go up the inside of Maggs and has that initial contact. And as Maggs rolls back, then they have a second contact just there where they entangle the wheels. And as you, again, too wide around the back. Oh! Big contact, both of them spinning.
Where does McLean go? Splits them and goes around the outside. Harris has gone around, and into the lead goes Borg.
He's done a Steve Bradbury. He's just sat there and just waited for the seas to part. He's come from nowhere and now leads with a healthy gap.
You can see that coming a mile away, going down to turn 7. Oh, this is awesome to watch. Not so if you're in the cockpit of these 2 cars. Flash between Harris and Crick. We saw it in-car from Matt McLean. He goes left, right, I'll go right. And while that was happening, Borg went down the inside on the traditional line. Here it is in-car once again.
He has a good run out of turn 6. Just sort of filing in, just having a good look. Then there's this contact, bang, and it unloads both of the Harris And McLean has...
What can you say?
I know. And this is where it is real time here. McLean's trying to go around Harris, but Harris is moving to the outside. The momentum took him out. Which
They're 11 seconds quicker in qualifying than what they were last time here back in 2019. So instantly quicker. And those raindrops some more. That's Jaden Maggs having a big moment. Now, yesterday in qualifying, it was his dad, Jared, who pushed the limit. He tried to come through here flat.
Bit of a talent.
So here's the replay once again.
Looks
so
like
got away from him?
Yeah, look, it looks like he sort of half got, initially got onto the brakes and it's almost locked the rears. So a bit unusual.
Second observation, there's a lot more damage to that car than what it looked like on the initial hit. So that's back in the pits with the Cedars team right now. That's the Mitsubishi Triton. His dad driving the Toyota Hilux this weekend. Ben Walsh has been given 5 seconds to his time, so that's for a start infringement. The welcome back party hasn't gone so well for the man from Queensland who's watched Matt McLean drive that car in the previous 2 rounds. That's how much he loves his motorsport still. At 74 years of age. He's got Chris Formosa just behind. Maggs for the second time has found the wall. And that's on the climb up just towards Solomon Park. And has he got away with it? We just saw a cloud of smoke. Here it is on the replay. So climbing up. Maggs just going to tag the wall. That could have been. It was big enough.
It was big enough. He had the brakes fully locked.
I think more so it's just the brake lock up in front, just trying to stop it from going around. But indicator plastic going everywhere there from the Repco curb cam.
Is there the number of different tyre strategies? Roll looking down the inside.
And they've made contact and he's found the wall on the right-hand side. And that is a game changer.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. These 2 guys battling for the championship. Ryle saw a bit of a move, and that's, unfortunately, that is game over for this race for Aaron Borg.
He's not going to be able to get that car fixed.
Get really very effective.
So here's what happened. This is the moment of the series, not just the race, but of the series.
Yeah, no, look, it's a hard one, Ryle. Really, the gap wasn't there, and the overlap wasn't quite there. That's going to be discussed in the stewards' room for sure.
That's a big hit, one in, one out for John Coots number 4. Hard to gather the car up when it's coming down the hill and should change of direction, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just one of those things. Both of these guys, everyone's putting everything on the line for this series, and everyone takes it seriously. But not sure there.
And there it was limping back to the pits.
It's done a lot of damage, hasn't it?
Yeah, there'll be more internal damage on that. Number 4, one would think. So he got the car back to the pits, which is a good sign. Meantime, there's more happening here. This is Richard Mork and Jazz Hands, Chris Formosa on their way down through the chase.
They've had a good battle all weekend, respectively, between one another. What's going on here?
I'm feeling something's going to happen here. And they're climbing. And off comes the guard of the number 49. Look the way Formosa bouncing around inside the cockpit of that Ford Ranger, of which there's 2 in the field, and collecting
almost
on the brake
turned it into a Raptor. Turned it into a Ford Ranger Raptor there.
Here it is from behind, this new camera angle that we debuted for our coverage this weekend. Climbed up over the top. They're tough, but we know they have their limits, and that was Jaden Maggs going, not again.
Yeah, he's come out of that quite well, actually. That's a heavy hit.
The John Coots car back out there. If he can get out and be classified, he'll still get some points. And if he gets... and this is Craig Woods. Craig Woods down the wall, and there's a tyre rolling down the track. Now
it's actually more than a tyre. It's a rim and a tyre.
As well,
He's hit the fence on the outside or the inside, and that's fired him into the outside fence.
So both have come off, in fact. You've got one behind the back of his Western Sydney Motorsport car.
That's a big hit. To have that sort of damage. Hope Craig's all right.
BP Ultimate Safety Car has been called at the halfway mark of the race.
Yeah, he's moving around. Yep, great.
He's going to take the exit stage left out of his number 64. And walks away, just calling for double yellows at that portion of the track. So Cameron Crick, this will buy them some time if they can fix this and get it back out there.
Right.
Here's the replay of what happened to the 64.
It's just, it looks like he's had, actually looks like he's had a failure. It looks like something, either a puncture or a failure in the right-hand front. That's a big hit. Yeah, something on the approach. Could have been a puncture. That wall doesn't you don't ever get away scot-free when you go into that wall.
So
here it is from the fixed camera in the middle of the turn, so he's already in the wall by this point, and that was Walsh that was up the inside. I don't think there was any contact between the two, and that wheel rolled itself nicely in between the two concrete walls and at least got out of harm's way. Yeah, just on his own.
Yeah, it looks like the right front's down a little bit, so it quite possibly is a puncture at that point. It's a nasty crash.
It's a long way down the other side of that wall as well.